I'm getting ready to take you on a really awesome adventure today here on Oak Island. As you can see, we've got the kayaks loaded up and we're gonna be exploring the island today by kayak, and we're gonna take you along for the journey and for the adventure. Right now we're at the Kayak Launch on Southeast 31st Street, and we're gonna make our way down this canal. This is Davis Canal. We've got about a 6.5 mile trek that we're gonna be doing today. So we're gonna be doing some fishing. We're gonna show you some hot spots along the way and show you what kayaking on Oak Island's all about. And if today works out as planned, we're gonna end up all the way at the point of Oak Island, which is the far west end. We're gonna have a fresh caught fish dinner, and we're gonna take you right alongside us the whole way. So let's get these things loaded up, let's get launched, and let's go have some fun. So one of the goals of the trip was to make it to where we're at right here, right now, which is Sheep Island. Another goal was to be able to catch a fish or crabs or catch our own dinner to be able to cook and eat, because we didn't take any food with us on this trip. It was gonna be an all-day trip, so we were really rolling the dice that we'd be able to come up with something and have dinner. We planned the trip starting from the rec center, which is kind of centrally located in the island, and then paddling all the way down about 6.5 miles. So Sheep Island, where we're at right now, is an uninhabited island just off the west end, or the point at Oak Island. The views here are just fantastic. I can see all the way out into the Atlantic. I can see Holden Beach. I can see gorgeous views of the Intracoastal Waterway, all from this one spot, which has, in my opinion, probably the best views on the East Coast. The launch was exciting, you know. This was a trip that we'd planned out and also hadn't done before. And we are off. Let the adventure begin. And we were excited to also be able to bring you along, and you're gonna see the whole thing from start to finish. It's gonna be a fun day. Perfect day for this. The reason you do a trip like this and the reason you kayak is as soon as we launched and got into the water, instantly, you're just there. And you relax, you're taking in the scenery around you, you're enjoying yourself and just enjoying being in the moment, and you stop worrying about all the other things that might be going on in your life or the world. And so it's just a really peaceful experience that you can get fully engaged in and just be in the moment. And I think the more opportunities we have in life to be in the moment where we're at, the healthier that we're gonna be. All right, before we get rolling on this journey too much, wanted to introduce myself. I'm Brian Inskip with Surf Homes NC. I sell real estate here in coastal North Carolina and on Oak Island. So we do a lot of cool videos like this that have to do with real estate here along the North Carolina coast, but also these lifestyle videos, which is really about what it's about living here and the things that we love about living here. So we like to include you on those so that you can get an inside look at some of the cool things that we have available to us out here. And we love taking you along these journeys and these adventures so that you can see what it's all about and come out here and have adventures of your own. So we're gonna paddle down this creek today. Like I said, it's about a 6.5 mile trip that we're gonna be doing. Got the poles rigged up here. So we're gonna do some trolling. We'll stop and we'll hit some hot spots, because our goal is that we're gonna end up at the point of Oak Island, which is the far west end, where the waterway that we're on right now meets the Atlantic Ocean. We didn't bring any food with us, so our goal is to catch enough fish so that we can have dinner. So we'll be cooking on a campfire on one of the islands that's located just off the point. So there's a couple uninhabited islands out there that are a really cool place to go explore, and kayaks are a great way to get there. So this is definitely a favorite pastime on Oak Island and a way to get out and enjoy that active lifestyle and be on the water and see different parts of the island. So we're glad you're joining us on this, and we should have a really fun day. So we'll keep checking in with you and show you some different spots along the way, but it's gonna be fun. On the first leg of the trip, it's really interesting because on one side, you've got canal front houses, waterfront houses with docks and piers and boat lifts. And then on the other side, you've got uninhabited area. And so you get kind of the best of both worlds right there. All right, so as you can see, on the left-hand side here, that's all uninhabited. So you've got houses on one side through this canal, and these make awesome places if you're wanting a super chill, relaxed place with no neighbors across the waterway, where you can get in the water at any point in time, fish right off your dock. So that section of the trip was really cool because in that area, you feel really secluded, almost like you're in the middle of nowhere or deep in some river. But in reality, you're just a couple blocks from the wide open Atlantic Ocean. It's really just a cool spot on the island. It's also state-owned and protected wildlife area, which means, you know, it's getting taken care of. As we got closer to 9th Street, it starts to open up a little bit where you can start to see some of the houses along Pelican Drive, just a couple blocks off the beach, which brings a whole nother element. So throughout this trip, we got different scenes, different views, and that really made it enjoyable as there was a lot of variety on it. Lots of little areas in here, right in all this marsh area. Nice little fishing spots inside all these little coves. We're gonna wait just a minute to get the lines wet, but we'll keep moving. So we got to the 9th Street walkover, which is awesome because it's cool to cruise down, you know, underneath in a kayak, but it's also really handy if you live on the main section of the island, the wooded section, because these walkovers, which are scattered throughout the island, give you an opportunity to go directly from the wooded section, walk across the bridge, and get down to the beach really easily. Otherwise, you have to go around the actual canal that we're kayaking on. If we look to the left here, once you get off that boardwalk, then you're just a couple steps down and you're on the beach. You can take bikes over this. You can walk over it, pull a cart. It does create a nice option for getting down to the beach. Once we got rolling, got a couple miles under our belt, we knew that we wanted to get some fishing lines in the water because the ultimate goal was that we were gonna be able to catch dinner. We didn't take any food with us, and if you've ever gone fishing, you know that it's called fishing for a reason. It's fishing, not always catching. So we really wanted to have lines in the water as much as possible. So even though trolling in the creek is not necessarily the top fishing method, we decided to put a couple lines out just to see if we could get lucky as we were paddling. So trolling on the canal from a kayak was something new for both of us that we hadn't done before. Sometimes you just gotta jump in and try it, see what happens. In this case, I'll be honest, the trolling while we were on the canal was not very successful. All right, so if you're digging this vibe, you know, being on the canal, you think that might be the spot you wanna be in. We're just passing a house just right here to my right that is for sale. You've got a boat lift, floating dock, covered gazebo area, and you know, beach is just right across the waterway. It's a cool thing about these canal houses. You never know, like some of these might have ocean view as well. For example, this gray house coming up right in front of us has 3 levels of deck on the ocean side. Massive decks, absolutely massive decks, because they know they want to be out there enjoying these views, and that's looking directly out over the ocean. I can even see a little outdoor kitchen bar area, the lower level. Man, that's gonna have some awesome views right there. There's gorgeous houses through there. I love real estate, obviously. I'm a real estate agent, so I love looking at all the houses back in through there. And you just imagine what it's like living there full time, where you could, at any point in time, jump on your kayak and do a trip like this. All right, here we are coming up on the Middleton Bridge. So this is one of the 2 bridges on Oak Island that will allow you to get from the island to the mainland. So this is obviously a higher traffic area. Just to the left of this bridge, that goes right down to the ocean front. And if we went to the right, just a couple blocks, then we'd be going up over the bridge of the Intracoastal Waterway. That's the nice thing about Oak Island, is we do actually have 2 separate bridges. After we cruised under Middleton Bridge, we knew that we wanted to stop at a little secret dock spot that is not too far from that bridge. I'm not gonna say exactly where it's at because there's a lot of people that would come after me. When you're doing a 6-mile plus kayak trip, you gotta have some time figured in there to relax, give your arms a rest, and just chill out. Got out, stretched the legs a little bit, and decided to get the lines in the water, see if we could catch dinner. We chilled on the dock, we fished, we had a good time. First catch of the day, and it's a monster. We're eating good tonight, folks. Looky there. Oh, and it's off. At this stop, we were going with a Carolina rig, so we had a weight on the bottom, 2 hooks with a float on each one, fresh shrimp, and then partially through, we switched up to cut mullet just to see if we could bring something else in. All right, we got number 2 on today. There we go. Yeah. Panfish. It's not gonna fill anybody up, but it's still good to catch stuff. All right, so we just chilled out here a little bit. We took a little break, rest the arms a little bit, and made use of one of the many public docks that's available. This one on Davis Canal, actually, because that's where we're at, but they're all over the Intracoastal Waterway and the canal. Check out our Parks and Rec video, because we highlight a lot of those key areas, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we do all kinds of videos like this where we give you all these insider secrets and tips, and also help you follow along the real estate market. So now we're about to load back up. We're gonna head down a little further, and we're gonna go check out a really hot crab spot and see if we can catch a few crabs. So we've caught 2 fish already, no keepers yet, but we're gonna keep trolling and fishing, making our way down to the point. So let's get loaded up, let's get back on the water and see if we can go catch some dinner. From that fishing spot, we had a little bit of a paddle to go to another secret spot. Again, let me know if you want to know the spot. I'll tell you where it's at. Just can't say the exact spot on the video. But Patrick was going to show me how to do some manual crabbing, which I'd never done before. Usually I just do crab pots and catch all kinds of blue crab around here. Honestly, this was one of the pretty sections of the trip. As you're working your way kayaking through the marsh grass area, is really just beautiful, really peaceful. So we finally got to the crabbing spot, and while Patrick was getting the line set up for crabbing, I figured, hey, why not throw the fishing lines in, see if we can catch some fish there. First cast here, got something. Again, never bad when you're catching something. So end of October, we were still able to wade out in the water. Water temperature was really comfortable. It actually felt really good after the paddle. So we waded out, got a little deeper, but we found our way to a sandbar and started throwing the crab line out. And so the way that works, you throw it out and you just really slowly reel it back, and the crab's gonna grab onto the bait, which was raw chicken. It's gonna grab onto the bait, and then you pull it in and you net it right when it gets close to you. So we were getting bites from the very beginning. We could feel the crabs tugging on it. It's a good spot because the tide comes in and it really has nowhere to go, and then it washes back out, which makes a good crabbing area. So Patrick had been running the line, showing me the ropes, how to do this. Then he handed the line off to me.
Here, let's switch. Maybe we'll have some luck that way.
Bro, you seen my fishing skills.
I don't know what to make of that comment. I mean, you're gonna pull in a small crab.
There we go. I thought that method of crabbing was a lot of fun because instead of just like throwing a pot out and then you go check on it after a couple hours, you pull it up and there's crab in there. With this one, you're feeling the crab the whole time. You're pulling it in. You're trying not to like pull it too fast or too slow. And so you're really involved in the process. It's very manual and makes it almost more like fishing, but fishing for crab. And I was feeling the same thing, feeling the bites, feeling the crab pull in. Had a couple casts where nothing came in. And then on the next one, I'm pulling it in. I knew there was one on there. He was fighting. I'm telling you, this thing was pulling. It felt like a monster. And we pulled it in. Patrick got the net under it. We pulled it up. Bam, we caught a crab. Hey. You put up a good fight, little dude. Look at there. It was not the biggest crab that you've ever seen. There's restrictions on what you can keep and not keep. Sometimes you gotta measure, see if the crab's a keeper or not. But I think we can safely say this guy's not a keeper. He's cute, but not a keeper. So say bye to everybody. Now we'll get him untangled here. So we netted a crab, even though it wasn't a dinner-sized portion. It was a small little crab, but he was a really cool looking crab. We let him go back on his way. Maybe we'll meet him again someday. But it was really cool just to catch a crab. And you know, that was the goal. So now we're 3 for 3. Everywhere we stopped so far, we've been able to catch stuff. So we're feeling pretty encouraged that we can catch dinner, but we still don't have anything in the cooler to eat. And we know that we keep paddling like this, we're gonna be getting hungry. So between our stop at the fishing dock and the crab spot, we really spent probably 2 to almost 3 hours more than we really anticipated. And so now we're about 3 hours behind schedule. So we knew the next leg of the trip was gonna be the longest paddle and the hardest paddle that we'd had to date. We knew we had to move, so we saddled up and we started paddling hard. So an interesting note is the average kayak speed is 2 to 3 miles an hour. We timed our trip with the tide, so we launched at high tide, going out with the tide so it could help carry us, and we were able to reach speeds up to 5 miles an hour on this section of the paddle. But we were paddling hard, and we probably felt this section of the paddle the next day more than any other. Our next planned stop was Lone Rider because we wanted to stop in there, say hi to our friends there, grab a beer, celebrate the crab and the fish that we caught, and also just show that if you're doing a trip like this and you don't want to catch your own dinner like we were doing, you could stop in there, you could have dinner at Lone Rider. All right, so now we are to the spot where, right over here, that's the Intracoastal coming right through here. And so a little bit further, we'll be down at the point. But if we went right, we could circle all the way around the island, make our way all the way to Southport, which, you know, we may do that trip at some point. But today we're gonna enjoy this one. So I'm not gonna lie, once we left the crab spot and we're on that long section of paddle, that hard paddle, I was feeling it, and there was multiple times where I was like, I don't know if I have it in me to make it all the way. But then we came to that bend where we turn at Montgomery Slough to go into Lone Rider. And once we saw that marker at that turn and made that turn, we knew that's where Lone Rider was and we could see it. I felt a big relief because I was honestly exhausted at that point. We hadn't eaten all day. So we pulled into Lone Rider, pulled the kayaks up on the launch. All right, so we're almost to our end destination. We got just a little bit to go, but we decided to stop off here, support one of our favorite local businesses and watering holes, Lone Rider, which is down here on the west end of Oak Island. This place has some of the best freaking Intracoastal Waterway views that you're gonna see. So we're gonna grab a drink, then we're gonna make our way down.
All the way.
How you doing?
All the way. Oh man, how you doing? Good. How are you? See anything good out there? We caught a couple of fish, a little crab.
We're waiting on the big one. We've seen like 2 other kayakers all day long. All right, cheers. So we've made it most of the way today and a little bit further to go. Got to catch up on some things. We got an offer today on one of my listings here on Oak Island as we're doing this, and so we're gonna enjoy the beer and make our way down. We had a beer. We got to enjoy just sitting in there, looking out over the waterway. The sun was starting to get lower, and we could see like it was about to start getting really pretty outside as the sun started to set. Honestly, the way I was feeling, I could have just stopped right there and been perfectly happy, but we had a goal, and neither one of them were done, getting to Sheep Island and catching dinner. So we had a beer, and then it was time to load back up and push out. And man, I'm glad we did, because that next section of the trip, as we made our way to Sheep Island, the sun started setting and we started getting the most beautiful sunset scenery, as you can see, just breathtaking. And as soon as that started happening, when we got back in the kayaks after Lone Rider, I was tired, I was hungry, probably getting a little grumpy at that point. But once we got in the kayaks and saw that view, I forgot about all of that. It was probably my favorite part of the trip. All right, so we're pulling out of Lone Rider, and this is really my favorite time of day here in North Carolina. So the sun is it's starting to set, and you just start getting these colors, and the way that light is reflecting off the marsh is just freaking amazing and gorgeous. So I'm gonna turn you around here so you can see what I'm talking about. So we may not have time to do everything we planned today, but we're at least gonna get to go enjoy this last bit of paddle with the tide rolling out with this view, and we're gonna go down there and we're gonna catch some amazing sunset from Sheep Island. Cannot beat it. It's so peaceful. There's so many different colors and just soft images out here right now. This has been a great day, and I would recommend doing this trip anytime. If you want to kayak, you want to go explore the island, this is a nice, relaxing trip. You can take your time. There's a lot of places you can stop, and then you can end it with this kind of scene right here, and we're not even to the best part yet. Best part's gonna happen in about 30, 45 minutes. It was just a really relaxing paddle. We were running behind, but it was just so beautiful out that we weren't really worried about that. We had a lot of different views along this trip, loved them all. This trip was worth it just for the last leg and the sunset cruise that we got. It was gorgeous. If you wanted to, you could do just a short leg from Lone Rider to Sheep Island and just do the sunset cruise. Would be totally worth it. But after putting all that work in all day, to see that sunset and everything just relaxes, it was just amazing. It was probably one of the best views that I've enjoyed and experienced. I think part of that came from the work that we'd done to get to that point, and just having the whole day combined to end in one of the most beautiful sunsets that I've ever seen on Oak Island, and there's beautiful ones all the time. We got to Sheep Island about the time that we thought we would be wrapping up and leaving. So the sun had already set, it was starting to get dark. We pulled up to the island, pulled the kayaks in, so we accomplished goal number 1, which was getting to Sheep Island. But we still had goal number 2, and we were starving. Okay, we were hungry, we'd put a lot of work in, and so as soon as we got the boats up, got the lines out in the water, but The flies out there right along the water line were ridiculous. Right at dusk, chill out. Wow. As I was casting the line, I was just getting attacked, but we had a goal to catch a fish, so I had to get them out there. But I'll be honest, it was miserable. We packed minimal stuff. We didn't even bring food. So if you do a trip like this and you're gonna go out to Sheep Island at dusk, take some bug spray. We didn't have any bug spray. That probably would have solved it. Threw the lines in using the same rig that we'd used all day. Fresh shrimp, Carolina rig, put them out there. We started to get some of the other gear out. As we were doing that, I looked over and saw the line was diagonal to the pole, so I knew something was on there. Bigger than anything else we've got for sure.
Nice.
Here we go, check it out. Oh baby.
We get one?
Oh baby. Here we go.
Yeah.
And gentlemen, holy, look at that beauty.
That's a fish right there.
First cast, once we got out here to the point, oh my goodness. We went the distance, we accomplished the goal, we got to the island, we put the time and the effort in, and catching that fish on the very first cast once we got to the island was really just a sign that, you know, we did the right thing, we pushed through. Super rewarding, and it was a beautiful 16.5-inch black drum. And so I went to, you know, show off the catch. I was pretty excited about it. I was really hungry, and, you know, went to show off the catch to the camera, and I kept dropping. I think I dropped it like 3 times. All right, so one of the goals that we talked about here at the beginning of the day was we were gonna have this awesome kayak trip, take you along, and then at the end of the day, we were gonna be able to get down here at the point on Sheep Island and have caught some fish today that we could have for dinner because we didn't pack any food. And sure enough, we kind of got skunked. We caught a lot of little fish along the way, but we got down here to the point, and first cast, look at this beauty. Dinner, as I was trying to show the fish to the camera, and it is such a beautiful, because I was just getting annihilated by the bugs. I couldn't even think straight. Damn these bugs, dude. So, you know, that's what happens. It still tasted great. We got the fish, so next thing we needed to do was start the fire. So we went up to the hill on the west end of Sheep Island and started to find some wood and everything. There was enough wood from other campfires that we were able to scavenge to make a small cooking fire. I love fish tacos, and everybody loves fresh fish tacos, so that was the plan of what we were gonna make if we were successful in the goal of catching a fish, which obviously we were. So we had some tortilla shells, peppers, onion that we were chopping up, and it was just a great fun process cooking outdoors. And we chopped all that up, getting it ready for the tacos while the fish was cooking. We got some lime in there, cilantro, fresh garlic. While the fish was frying, everything started smelling great. Then we got to put it all together, and I'll tell you what, those were the best tacos that I've ever eaten. We were so hungry. It was a fish that was caught less than 30 minutes ago, and really just the end to an awesome day. Here we go, black drum tacos, as promised. With mango salsa. That's good, dude, huh?
I'm hungry, man.
Fresh,
This is hitting the spot.
fresh caught fish. Oh my God. At the end of the day, we just appreciate being able to do this with you, and we hope you've enjoyed it, and we hope you come do this same trip, you know, or do a different trip and tell us about it, because we had such a good time, and that's really what it's about, is we want to share the good times that we have with you, and we want to share the ideas of how you can have a great lifestyle here on the coast with you, and some of the things that we love about Oak Island and that we love to do. So when we finished eating dinner, then we extinguished the fire, we put the fire out, douse that with water, make sure you put the fire out if you're gonna have a fire out there. And then we had to get back to the point because we're on the island, and that was a really cool paddle too. So we kind of thought we got to the island, that's the end of the trip, but one of the coolest parts was actually that paddle in the dark back to the point. There's nobody out there, all the houses on the point are lit up and the stars are out. Like that in itself was a cool little kayak trip. It was super clear. We saw so many stars out there, shooting stars. It was a beautiful night all around. Just paddling across the channel in the pitch black with all our gear, knowing that we had succeeded throughout the day, that we hit both our goals of making the full trip, paddling all the way, catching the fish, making dinner out there. We just felt on top of the world that just how we had planned the day to go, it went that way. Maybe it doesn't always go that way, but it sure did that day, and was one of the coolest experiences that I've had on Oak Island. So you saw it. It was an awesome day. It was an amazing kayak trip, probably one of the best ones that I've ever had. We saw so many gorgeous views, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. The button's right down there. That's gonna make sure that you can join us on the next adventure, because there's plenty more where this came from. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.